Hello everyone and welcome to Hoop-de-Doodle. This week we are continuing to work on our CB500F customization wrecked bike rebuild thing, and we're getting to a key point in the build, an exciting point where this thing is now almost a bike again. It is very close to being a bike again, which is where we want it to be, so that then we can take the next step, the big step, the questionable step in this journey, which is it's the unknown step. It's a step that we haven't done this before. It's a process of taking it to the state to get it inspected to make it a bike again. Because right now it's legally a pile of parts. We want it to be legally a bike that we can legally ride around on the road. So that's a big step and a big unknown at this point, and something we're excited to find out about. So that is interesting. But this week we worked on a fender. We made a fender for this bike. This guy right here. See how solid that fender is? Look at it. It's nice. That's a good fender. So we made the fender in the last video. We made the bracket in this video. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Brackets. So first things first on this fender, let's figure out where we want it to sit. That means the old hose trick. So I'll take this guy off of here, and then I need to go get some tape. Tape these guys up here. So going forward from here, I've got the rubber tubing going all the way down to here so that it should have an even spacing off the fender all the way. And I've got it spaced higher because it's more scramblery. So for better or worse, it's scramblery. And I got two mounting points right here and another mounting point, a third one back here. So I'm gonna make a little bracket that goes between these two. I don't know if that's necessary. I might be able to just make a bracket, start my fender bracket from here and go straight to the fender. Why not do that? What do I need this thing for anyways? Do we want a simple bracket that just goes like right here? Like this little tiny space right there and just goes boink, straight onto the fender like that? Do we want something more off-roady that like goes up over the fender, like a whole round thing and attaches up here with like a big old chunky bracket? What do we want? All right, so what I've decided is I want some sort of X bracket on the top here. So it'll go from this guy and it'll sort of X over to the one on this side in the back and vice versa. And then we'll bolt on either side in the front here and in the back. So that's what we're gonna work on right now, is bending some rod that will fit in this sort of shape over here around the fender. So let's do that. We need 4 bend. All right, I've got some 1/4-inch rod right here. This guy, this 1/4-inch rod, and I got this pipe to bend it around because it's got a nice radius on this thing. I'm gonna give it a go at manually bending it around this thing and see. Let's do it this way. See how feasible that is. I need about 2 inches on one side and about 4 inches on the other side of the bend. 4 inches is about there. All right, so that's a little past 90. So yeah, something like that. You know, it's a pretty good bend. So let's let's go look on the bike here. So if we look at it on the bike, it looks all right. It's not exactly dazzling me at the moment, but yeah, basically this guy would run sort of across that way, come back, and attach to a little sort of a stub right here. Let's gonna go ahead and cut this, and I'll have a better idea of how it sort of fits in there. All right, so I've cut it, and now I can stick it on here and have a little bit of a better view of it. Should look very similar to that. Let's go ahead and I'll make 4 more of these, and then we'll go from there. All right, so there's 4. Let's go back to the bike. Yeah, kind of like that. So as this rod comes over the side here, I'm gonna need a way to attach it to the forks here. And so I'm gonna use this 1/2-inch rod, and we're going to make a little threaded bolt basically out of the 1/2-inch rod, and we can weld this straight to that bolt that is going to stick out on the side, on the inside right here. So let's go ahead, we'll make about 4 of these guys and then see where we're at on this bike. Let's get our little rod. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and face this thing up, which means like sort of flatten off this thing, flatten off the end of it to make sure it's nice and straight. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and use a center drill to get in here, mark the center out. So, alright, now I'm going to get in here with a number 4 drill. Alright, so on the fender over here, I've got the little bungs, the little nut parts that I've made mounted up on here. So this guy right there, I got the same over here, and also on the back side as well. We've got some there and on the other side as well. So these guys are ready to go, and now it's a matter of coming out here and taking the little 1/4-inch rods and sorting those out to figure out how long those need to be. I need to start shortening them up so that they will actually fit the space that they're required to fit. Alright, so with that aim in mind, I've got them arranged with this neat little vice grip here, and this way I can sort of manipulate them to a degree, but it also keep them in neat order while I try and sort of line them up on these bungs, get everything approximately where I imagine it will go. And then I'm going to bring them out, mark them, which I've already done right there. This is the magic of YouTube. I've already put a mark on there where they both line up. Then I can take my vice clamp off, cut them, and then weld these two together. And that's going to be the basis, the starting point of my little crisscross. Alright, so now I'm going to undo these guys and then cut each of these, and then we'll weld this stuff together. Alright, so I've now got it set up in a little bit of a fixture here, so to speak, with like some angle iron, and clamped it down on the one side that was giving me troubles. Didn't want to quite stay flat against angle iron, and then this guy's lined up in there. I've got a little bevel where they're going to weld together, and now I'm going to go ahead and tack that, and then try and fit it on the bike again. Alright, I actually cut it too short the first time, so I had to go back in here and add in a little piece. So, but now it goes from the one side to the other side approximately how I want it, and at the height I want it, which is there's a little bung here. I want it to be, this bung is going to get welded onto the fender itself, and then the bracket will attach via another bung on top of this. So it needs to sit up above this guy approximately like that. So I need that height in mind when I'm looking at this thing. I think that is a good, that should be about a perfect length this way on my little bracket rod here. That's what we want for this guy. Now we got to go ahead and figure out the heights here, where to cut this. So get back up here, get my little magnet back in play. All right, it might be something like that. Let me go ahead and measure, make sure it's the same all the way around. 3/8 of an inch to the bottom over there. On the one side over here, I'm gonna go ahead and make my mark there. I'll cut that. All right, so there's this guy so far set up on there, and it actually measures out right where I want at this point. I did take a bit of fiddling around. You can see better over here that the one end is different length than the other end, the height wise, as it sticks up like that. So I had to account for that, because basically these two guys, I'm going from this side, I'm going from this one on the one side to this one in the back on the other side, and they're at different heights here, so I didn't account for that. So we did go ahead and fix that. So after fixing that, now we've got this piece exactly where we want it. And now I'm going to go ahead and try and replicate it on the other side. All right, so to do that, I've got this guy. Here are my other pieces here. And go ahead and try and measure. Oh, that's easy. Just line them up like that. Mark them off, my friend. Bam, done. Go ahead and cut that one. All right, now I need to figure out lengths here. So it's probably easiest just to cut one of these and then go from there. All right, so I've got this first one here ready to tack in. I'm gonna tack it onto the bungs here. All right, now I wanna find at least approximately the center of this so I know where my crisscross will be. From this guy, I believe is the center point. And so measure it down from there to this guy. Try and mark it, line it up that way. All right, so that should be my center point right there. So I got the little guy in back. And that I'm happy with the way that sits on there. I'm literally just gonna bring this, I'm setting it on my little bung in the back there. I'm gonna bring it straight across to my little center mark. And then we'll mark it there, approximately where we want to cut it. Alright, so after a bit of finagling and sorting, I think I've got these things where I want them, where they'll crisscross through there just perfectly. Alright, there it is, all X'd up in there. I'm going to go ahead and weld in fully, take this out of here, weld it up fully, the second part of the X. And then we should be getting somewhere. All right, we've now got it installed, the little cross brace installed. There it is. And now we have to connect the cross brace to the fender. All right, and then to do that, I've got these guys here. It's basically a number of other bungs. This one is non-threaded, so this guy drops right in through it. And this one down here is threaded, and so it threads down onto that one. And so the concept here is that this thing, the bottom one gets welded onto the fender, and the top one gets welded onto that brace. So then I've got two. One goes in the front, one goes in the back. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and take the whole thing off, and we'll try and weld it up. It's like a weird spider. All right, there it is. There it is. Glorious, glorious fender bracket. All right, do we like the fender bracket? Here's the test, possibly, is to stand back. Take a look at the bike in total. Does the fender bracket work with this? Does the fender setting work with it? In terms of the height and everything? I think it's pretty good. I think it works. Of course I made it, I'd have to say that. So that's our fender bracket. I hope you liked it. I am still thinking about whether or not I like it. It is kind of cool. It's definitely off-roady, and I think that's pretty neat. So that's the look we're going for. That's the ruggedness we want on this bike, is something that will, you know, I plan, and whether or not I actually do it, I plan on taking this thing off-road, so to speak. Dirt roady, you know, throwing some rocks kind of off-road is definitely a plan on there, and definitely something I will not avoid with this bike. And so the ruggedness is something I want. I want something that will be durable, which I think this will be. It'll be better than the stock one. The stock was a plastic fender. This is a metal, man. Metal is always more durable. So that's cool. I'm glad the bike is progressing, and our next steps are to do things like hook everything up. We got to paint things. We got to take this stuff off we've customized and fabricated at this point, and now paint them, make them look nice, do whatever finishing we're going to do on them, and then put them back on the bike, as well as all the electrical, hook all that stuff up and make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to be. So wiring will be coming up. I know that's a thing for a lot of people, is wiring, and the wiring on this bike should be fairly straightforward. It's not any crazy, we're not redoing the whole loom on this, it's just a couple taillights and things like that. We will be switching out the LEDs though, which that is a very common sort of upgrade for people. So LED switching and the relay flasher switching, etc., that goes along with that, we'll be doing that. So that should be a fun journey and hopefully useful for some people out there. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you next time. Keep on wrenching. Thanks for watching.